Guys, so welcome back to my channel. So as you guys may know, I do spooky stories. It is I, Rebecca's Journey, aka your favorite Haitian homegirl. So in this video, you guys are gonna see an array of spooky stories from all different types of things, and these are all true submitted stories. From a story retold about Papa Legba. Did she meet Papa Legba, or did she meet a trickster, or was it both? Stories about love spells, stories about people fucking around and finding out. So I hope you guys grab your popcorn, grab your blanket that you guys can find on my Printify, because I am selling merch. If you haven't already, make sure you get your very own merch. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Watch it all the way till the end and tell me how far you've made it in. Like I say at the end of all of my videos, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to this video right now before we even go on, okay? Like, we are trying to get out of the 50K range, okay? Make sure you share this video to a friend. Now, all of these videos have been going viral on all the other platforms, so I want to make sure that I bring it over here to you guys so you guys can enjoy in the comfort of your own home. Like I say at the end of every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, except this is in the beginning because I'm doing an intro. All right, hope you guys enjoy the video. Get a tarot reading from just anybody. I don't know if you guys have seen her video. So the girl in the video went to Concord, California in this like tarot store, and she had heard really good things about it. Now she decided to get a tarot reading done by one of the ladies. Now she does say while she's getting the tarot reading done, she's having weird internal feelings about it. But the tarot reader told her to go to this crossroads or railroads, whatever, and leave an offering for a deity. Now, again, the girl in the video is feeling iffy about it. From what I can tell, the girl in the video is Haitian. However, the person who gave her the tarot reading was not Haitian. The tarot reader knew nothing about Santeria, Voodoo, or anything. So the girl in the video, we're gonna call her Haitian Princess. Even though she was having her own internal doubts, she still decided to make something and leave it at the railroads. And on her way to the crossroads, she was setting her intention. She was being very clear and intentional, meditating all the way there. That way she can have a clear mind. So she makes it to the crossroads in Vallejo, and she leaves something like she was instructed. As she's putting down this offering, she is meditating over it, praying to this one deity that, she's giving it to. And when she stands up, there was a man behind her. There's a bunch of homeless people in Vallejo, so she wasn't thinking much about it. But when she stood up, the random man said, "Thank you." Immediately, she gets this intense feeling, this strong, energetic pull, almost, maybe fight or flight. So he steps to the side, and she's seeing him in her peripheral. And she describes that man to be a very tall man. The man was wearing red and black. He had this hat on, and she was just feeling overwhelmed with emotion. So she goes, "Oh no, I'm so sorry if I was in your way." At that point, she didn't see a clear image of this man's face, so she goes to walk away when suddenly he grabs her arm and he says, "You really shouldn't listen to people who are telling you to do something that your body doesn't want to do." And this time she turns to look at him, and y'all, when she turns around, it was a little boy. Not a big tall man, it was a little boy. And when she sees the little boy, his voice just changes completely. So he was holding her hand, right? So he looks down at her nails and says, "You really shouldn't do your nails like that when you're doing these types of things. It's disrespectful." Now she was freaked out, and she just says to the little boy, "You have a nice day." And the little boy says to her, "Have a better one." And the little boy is just creepily walking away and humming. Now, if you don't know this deity that she may have encountered, this deity is a trickster. So when she gets home, throughout the day, she would continue having these weird occurrences. Like, she would be sitting there and something would just run past in her peripheral. She would be brushing her teeth and feel a presence in the shower. She would be putting her clothes on in the morning, and all her hats would just suddenly fall. So she goes back to the lady that gave her this advice. And she tells the lady that things have actually not been better. I've actually been feeling watched. And the tarot reader recommends that she gets Moldavite. Now, we all know about Moldavite. Let's keep going. For some reason, homegirl did get the Moldavite, and her life would then turn upside down. She would just lose random things in her house. She would lose her keys, misplace her shoes. And it would be like losing little things that would make her feel like she's going crazy. And trust me, I've experienced this before. Every time she would lose something, it would cause her to stay in that house longer, which she knew at that point something was wrong. So she finds this Haitian practitioner in Richmond, which I feel like she should have led with that. So she goes to her, they go to her backyard. There's a few people there, like a few people playing the drums and another person helping her. I think it was like 6 of them in total. She starts getting cleansed. The lady's lighting sage in her face. She's blowing powder in her face. The practitioner was telling her, open your eyes and show me what you see. When she opens her eyes, she sees the man that she saw at the crossroads in her peripheral vision. And then her eyes opens up and she says, Eshu Legba. And the music, the drumming just starts to intensify. And Haitian princess is seeing this man over the practitioner, and this practitioner is seeing this man over Haitian princess. The practitioner was speaking to him in a Creole that she has never heard before. She says in that moment she recognizes that it was actually all beautiful. It was similar to catching the Holy Spirit, to have everybody be on the same accord, feeling the same thing. A lot of you would ask, weren't you scared? The answer is no. So the man standing over the practitioner's head pulls something out from his pocket and crumbled it and drops it in front of them. And y'all, it was the Moldavite. When it all ended, the practitioner told her that she needed to go home immediately and get rid of that Moldavite in real time. Pretty much get rid of anything that she had ever gotten from that shop. And she told her that the Moldavite is not something that you need to be touching. So she listened, went home and threw out everything. And that night, for the first time in years, she had a dream. So she had a dream that she had woken up and coming out of her mouth were like bits and pieces of the Moldavite. And that was the end of that story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Let me tell y'all how this brand reached out to me, basically asking me to do a humiliation ritual for just $200. I'm chilling in my inbox, checking my email, minding my own business, and suddenly I get an email from this brand. Now, I'm not going to say the name of the brand, but it's a female care brand. Now, the post is like, hey, we're offering you $200 for you to do a post for Instagram, and we will also run ads for 60 days on that post. Now, I only have 10K on Instagram, $200 for one post on Instagram. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. So I'm like, yeah, let's go through with it. Let's do it. And then they sent me the script. You know, part of me felt like this is too easy. There has to be something. There was. They sent me the script and I'm reading this script like, bro. Him, babe, you taste like heaven. Are you still eating pineapples 3 days before your date with him? Honestly, believe it or not, the odor down there was so overbearing. I went crazy with the pineapples. But that only made me gain weight. Getting rid of the smell. I'm not too sure about that part, but try this. So what I'm hearing is you want me to get up here on the internet and tell the world that my coochie odor down there is so overbearing, which by the by is a lie. I don't know if I'm willing to lie to my audience like that. I take pride in my hygiene. Plus, there were so many things about this script that just threw me off. So now, according to the script, my man has to be the one to notice that my coochie don't stink. Why can't women just want to fix their hygiene because they want to? So let me tell y'all what I sent back to the brand. I said, thanks for sending the script. I'm open to working together, but I would need more creative freedom with the storyline. I'm not comfortable telling my audience that I have an odor problem, which is lying to my audience, and I don't want the content to revolve around a man enjoying sex after I fix my hygiene. That simply doesn't sit right with me. I believe women should care for their hygienes for themselves, not to be validated by a man, and I prefer the ad to focus more on the product, its benefit, and confidence from a personal standpoint. If we can adjust the direction to reflect that, I'd be happy to discuss moving forward. Otherwise, I will have to decline. They told me, well then bitch, decline. That's not what they said verbatim. But pretty much they told me, if you're not willing to get on camera and tell the world that your coochie odor was so overbearing, you were stuffing your face, it was so bad that you were stuffing your face with pineapples so much, for $200. You know, I've actually seen those ads before. Every time I go through the comment sections of that ad, it's all asking one thing: how much are they paying you to say these things? I'm here to answer that question. A whopping $200. I don't know. That's a humiliation ritual. I said what I said. Your favorite Haitian homegirl. So if someone curses your land in Vinda, you'll know. Ours started with one sentence: life will be difficult for you. And the next day, they would uncover exactly what that meant. I am back with another spooky story. This one, yet another submission from South Africa. So we're gonna call the person who submitted the story Timba. So Timba was born in Limpopo in a city in Vinda called, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Tohoyandu. Timba lived with his mom, sister, and 2 brothers. So the dad was a deadbeat, so they never knew him growing up. So their grandmother and grandfather raised them, and they were actually doing okay as they had a small farm and quite a bit of land. So in 2006, Timba's sister, let's call her Girl, started working. Timba was unemployed at the time, but she bought him 5 cows, some sheep, and goats. So Timba had a skill of taking care of livestock, so over the years, the animals multiplied. So by 2017, they had over 40 cows and sheep, and they used to sell meat to local butchers. So then came 2021. They discovered that a member from the community has been stealing their sheep. So they opened the case against them and managed to get some of their stolen sheep back. Later that afternoon, his mother came and asked them to drop their charges so that her son could get out of jail. And out of anger, girl refused. So after she refused, the boy's mother said, if y'all don't drop them charges, life is gonna become very difficult for y'all. Well, they still declined. The next day, heavy rain started. Suddenly, they heard a loud lightning strike. So they ran out to the rain toward the field to see that lightning had struck one of their trees. Timba said he almost peed himself. So he turned right back and ran into the house. He stood by the window watching, worried about the livestock that was still out there in the field. But Timba had to man up, so he had to go back outside again to open the barn. After he opened it, he tried to move the livestock back inside of the barn as it was raining really heavy. Then another lightning strike hit the barnyard and split it open in two. Now Timba runs back to the house. Y'all, the creepy part. His sister was standing by the window watching everything. She said that there was a man standing by the livestock. Someone that Timba, who was out there, hadn't seen at all. When Timba came to look out the window, he finally saw him. And y'all, in the next moment, 4 lightning strikes hit and killed almost all of the livestock. From 40 cows and sheep, y'all, they were left with only 10 animals. Everybody pretty much just stayed inside with the family and prayed. Lightning stopped. They stayed up all night praying. By morning, the sky was clear and the sun came up. Went out to the field and found the remaining 10 animals alive. The others were unalive and they were still smoking like the barnyard. Some exploded with pieces of meat everywhere. And that is how they lost their livestock. Until this day, they don't know who the man or the woman in the field was. That was so sad. Like, these are animals we're talking about. Thank you guys so much for watching this spooky story. And one thing about it, South Africa is always going to take us on an emotional roller coaster. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, feel free to submit it to me right here on TikTok, or you can DM it to me on Instagram. Oh, and the video right before this teaches you exactly how you can achieve these pink lashes. And be sure to check out my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. Like I say at the end of all of my videos, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Somebody submitted a spooky story saying that they encountered the devil in LA and they nearly sold their soul. I am back with another spooky story, and I don't know if you want to watch this one at night. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Angela. Angela says that she's sending this anonymously because she doesn't want anybody connecting the dots. Just know that she came to LA for music, left when she realized that the devil may not just be a biblical figure and that he lives right here on earth, specifically Los Angeles. Angela goes on to say that people joke about selling your soul for fame. No one talks about how ordinary the first step looks. For Angela, it started with an invite. A friend of a friend told her about a small industry gathering in the hills. Nothing crazy, just networking, good views, a few producers, and a few up-and-coming artists. She says when you're chasing opportunities, you say yes. So she went. She pulls up and the house was gorgeous. The energy felt wrong. When she walks in, it seems like everybody was smiling. Their smiles looked forced. The way people were talking in the house is as though they're whispering. They're talking so low as if they didn't want to wake something up. Angela said the second she felt how she felt, she should have gone home. And then she says someone important, she's not gonna name who, recognized her from a clip she posted and called her voice rare. They got into this conversation, they're talking back and forth. Now this is someone that Angela admired. They get a drink, they're talking. Next thing Angela knows, she's being led downstairs to a private room. The person that she was talking to told her that there was a studio downstairs. He asked her if she wanted to check it out. She was like, sure. When they got downstairs, that's when everything changed. The room wasn't a studio. It was more like a lounge. She said there was red lamps, velvet seats, and one big mirror that covered the entire wall. 2 men and a woman was already inside of that room. They all looked like normal people. However, it seems like these people have been waiting for Angela. So they get in the room, they ask her to sit, and they ask Angela a few questions. First question was what she wanted from music. Angela said the usual: success, stability, impact, tours. Now, Angela said that the way that these people were listening is as though they've heard this exact story like 1,000 times before. After Angela gets done, the woman leans in and says, we can give you all of that, but nothing in this city belongs to you for free. Angela says whole time she's laughing because she thinks the lady is being metaphorical. Spoiler alert, she wasn't. She opens a small leather case, slides it across the table, and inside was a sheet of paper. Not a contract, not a deal memo, something else. Old, too old. The writing itself wasn't even in English. The paper itself had a weird smell radiating off of it. It smelled of incense and ash. She looks at the paper and told them that she didn't understand it. And now one of the men smiles and says, "You don't have to understand. You just have to sign and the city will take care of the rest." Angela, at first she froze. Then she gets annoyed. Thought this was some weird hazing ritual. She said she wasn't signing anything without reading it first. And y'all, the woman tilted her head and said, "You already read it. You read it the moment you walked in this room. It's been waiting for you since you got off the plane." Angela gets distracted because she could have sworn she saw something flicker in the mirror. When she looks up, it wasn't a glitch. She caught a reflection that wasn't in the room. She saw from the mirror that it was a very tall figure standing way too close, watching her. When she looks around her, she sees nothing. At that point, Angela stood up immediately. Temperature drops like it's suddenly freezing cold in this room. Her throat starts to tighten up as if someone was choking her. Man says, "If you walk away, you will never know success. Because we're giving you the success right here." Angela says she pushes them back and ran up the stairs. The party upstairs was still happening like normal, like nothing just happened downstairs. When she steps outside, the whole house went quiet behind her. She says she gets home and she says that night and forward, she had the worst nightmare of being trapped in hell. Her life started going downhill. You will never believe how this story ends. I honestly can't believe it. If you want to hear how Angela's story ends, this is already 4 minutes long, so leave a comment for part 2. Make sure you hit the plus button for more spooky content. I owed my landlords over $20,000. They took me to court and I almost became homeless in New York City. I am back with another spooky story. Now, before we officially get into this story time, let me just say that I know exactly where I went wrong. This story happened a couple of years ago. I was young, dumb, and broke. Frontal lobe hadn't fully kicked in yet. And I'm convinced that I might be clinically delusional. So let's get right into the story. Well, as some of y'all may know, I moved out in 2021. Originally, when I moved out, someone co-signed the apartment for me, which was my sister. Towards the end of the lease, I ended up transferring everything that I owed and got a new lease under my name. Got my sister's name off the lease and the apartment officially became mine. Now, at the time, I was working a job at this clinic. I was making literally just enough to pay my apartment. My rent at the time was $1,500. I was making $1,500 a month. If I miss a single day of work, I'm not making rent. Keep in mind, I transferred whatever I had owed under my sister's name to mine. I'm already behind on rent, trying to pay the current rent that I owe. By the way, if you're moving out, don't let rent build up. Worst mistake that you could do. At that point, I owed the leasing office 5 bands. Now, this is the summer of 2022. I was working at that job for 3 months before I got fired in August. When I got fired August of 2022. Again, I was barely making rent. $5,000 that I owed beginning of summer. By August, I owed like 7 at that point, 7,000. 23-year-old me, like my brain was mashed up, okay? That I owed that much money. I had just lost my job. My brain was fucking fried. But I guess with my delusion comes faith. I decided that after I got fired from my job that maybe this is just a sign from God that I'm not supposed to work because I hated that job that I got fired from, not gonna lie. Maybe I'm not supposed to have a 9 to 5 and maybe I'm supposed to focus on my business. And I'm not gonna lie. Every single day I woke up was about building my brand. I have no money coming in. I have $0 to my name. Like literally. I don't even know what to say. Like things were so bad. At some point I was starving because I couldn't afford to buy myself food. At that point I wasn't in contact with my dad. Not a family oriented person. Don't have much family here in the States that I'm in contact with. When I'm going through struggle, I just go through it. Also, I didn't qualify for food stamps at the time because I was a recent green card holder and I needed to have my green card for at least 5 years before I officially qualify for food stamps. I'm not getting any type of help from the government, any type of help from family. Literally just here rotting away, living off of vibes and parties. So August turns into September, turns into October, November. Now we're in December of 2023. I get a call from the leasing office and they're like, "Hey, Buki." They didn't say it like that. So, owe us $11,000. Run me my money, ho. They also didn't say that. If you don't run me my money, we gotta get you the fuck up out of here. Again, not what they said. That's how my brain translated it. Anyway, I'm freaking the fuck out. What the hell am I gonna do? Homeless in New York City at 23, owing 11 bands. At the time, New York City had this option available for people who were behind on rent. It was this one-time program that would basically pay off whatever you owed. It would also pay off like an extra 3 months for you after the fact. I had applied for them back in September. It took some people months to hear back from them. My only hope here is that these people get back to me about the program and that they can pay my landlord. I don't know if y'all know what a Deus Ex Machina is. The day my landlords called me and they told me they're sending lawyers after me, that same day I crashed the fuck out on the universe. Nothing in my business was working out. I did everything I could. I was manifesting, meditating every day, praying to whoever could hear me. I'm really about to lose everything like this. That same day that I spoke to the landlords and they told me that they were going to get the lawyers out on me, I get home. Something tells me to check my email. I opened my email, y'all. The first email that I see is from the city letting me know that they just paid my landlord 11,000 USD. So pretty much balance is cleared. Right? I called the leasing office that same day. I said, check your email. The lady checked the email right then and there and was gagged. And the email is an invoice for 11 bands. Account cleared, saved by the hook. Except I did it again. This time, I actually doubled it. So after my account gets cleared up, I really wasn't giving up on my business and also not looking for a job. At that point, the following year, I did start getting clients for my business. I still wasn't making anywhere near enough for rent. By the end of 2023, I wind up owing my landlord a whopping $20,000. I literally doubled it. You're like, bitch, did you just not pay rent at all year? No, I paid rent like twice, but it wasn't the full amount either. I had faith. The delusions was delusioning because I was convinced I was going to become very successful in my business, maybe overnight or over a month. And it's only a matter of time now. Needless to say that my landlords took me to court this time. Say, yeah, we're suing you. And this story is going on a little too long, so I'm going to just do a part 2. This is the woman who believes that the devil lives in Los Angeles and she almost sold her soul. Part 2. So after leaving the house, she said, just know this part 2, leaving the house wasn't the end of it. Something definitely followed her. For the next 3-4 nights, she didn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt the same pressure on her throat from the basement. And it wasn't like it was full on choking her. It was just uncomfortable, a reminder almost. She said the mirror in her room kept fogging over even though the air was cold. She said once she wiped it, she swore she saw writing under the condensation. Something curved like the same shape as the symbols on that old paper. She said after that day, she stopped checking the mirrors, whatever, let them fall. She said after that night, the worst part is that her voice stopped working. She would open her mouth and try to sing and nothing would come out, not even a whisper. She went to urgent care, ENT, even a vocal coach, and all of them told her that there was nothing wrong with her physically. So she started self-isolating. Her friends thought she was depressed and her mom thought she was overwhelmed. She would wake up to random tapping in the house. She doesn't really know if it's coming from the window, the walls, or the mirror. After the 4th night, Angela was tired mentally, physically, and spiritually. She remembers staring at her ceiling thinking, maybe this is just how LA works for some people. And then she said something happens after that she still cannot fully explain. She woke up out of nowhere at like 4 a.m. It was pitch black, dead silent, and y'all, there was someone sitting at the foot of her bed. She says not a shadow, not sleep paralysis, a figure. Very tall, and it's just sitting there still, just watching Angela. She says she noticed that the room wasn't actually cold in this moment. It was hot, like humid breath was like hitting her face. She said her voice still wouldn't work, but in her head, she's still hearing the voice of the woman from the house telling her, you've already been chosen. She said the figure leaned forward, and I swear to God, right before it reached for Angela, her phone buzzed, saved by the bell, because one single notification broke the whole thing apart. And she says the weirdest part of this all that she still cannot explain. The text was from a number that she didn't recognize. And the text said, don't engage, leave immediately. She blinked and the figure was gone, nowhere to be found. She said for once, her room felt normal again and she could breathe. Angela said she packed her stuff within the hour. She didn't shower, didn't look in the mirror. She got in her car and just drove. Angela said she didn't even have a real destination. She just felt like she needed to get out of the city because whatever figure that was, she figured that it couldn't follow her across state lines. She said she wound up stopping at a small Haitian botanica just outside of LA. And she said she wasn't even looking for this store. It was just on her drive. So she parks, get out of the car. When she walked in, the older woman behind the counter didn't ask for her name, didn't ask what she needed. She looked up to her and said, something is feeding on your voice. Angela didn't cry, she didn't explain, and she didn't question the lady. She said the woman mixed something in a small glass bowl, rum, ashes, something red that she didn't recognize, and she told her to wash her hands with it, then her throat, then her head. And the lady told her that if you signed nothing, it cannot claim you, but it can attach itself. You left the door open and now we close it. Angela says that she noticed that the lady's voice sounded tired. Like she'd seen too many girls come to LA with hope and leave with something missing. She made her repeat a short prayer in Creole. She said her voice cracked on the first line. By the second, a sound finally came out. The lady told her that the tapping on the wall, the figure on her bed, and the contract said those weren't metaphors. They're recruitment. She said certain circles in LA don't ask you to sign a deal. They ask you to offer yourself. Your image, your voice, your presence, your dream. And not everyone gets chosen. But the ones who do don't get approached just because they're desperate. They get approached because they're gifted as well. Brightness attracts hunger, she said. Before she left, the lady warned her, don't make music here. Don't record here. Don't perform here. LA has already marked you, and if you go back to sing, it will find you again. Angela said, and for a long time, she didn't believe her. And at some point, Angela really started to feel like this whole thing was just taking a toll on her mental health. She doesn't have a family history with schizophrenia or hallucinations. She genuinely doesn't understand what this is. She says she winded up leaving LA to go back to her mom's for a break and to recuperate her mind to try to figure out WTF just happened. She says the second she left LA, her voice came back fully. She says now she still sings sometimes. She doesn't perform anymore, but she is done with the industry. She says she definitely never stepped foot back in LA. She said some opportunities aren't opportunities, they're invitations. She didn't sell her soul, but she's glad that God had her after all. I'm trying to record an outro, but I really can't talk, so bye. I always warn y'all, stop doing love spells on people. Imagine you do a love spell on a man and you become obsessed. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Kalia. So Kalia says, please don't use my name. I am embarrassed, ashamed, and honestly still dealing with the consequences of this. But she knows she needs to get this off her chest because she doesn't want anyone else doing what she did. So she was with her boyfriend for 8.5 years. 8 long years. They weren't perfect, but they loved each other. At least Kalia thought so. But the last few years, he started changing, like going out more, hiding his phone, lying about where he's sleeping. Kalia actually caught him cheating twice. Kalia says even though it destroyed her, she stayed because she thought she couldn't live without him. He wasn't just a boyfriend to her anymore. Again, this is 8.5 years. This is her comfort, her routine, her home. She said that the fear of losing him felt worse than the pain of staying. But one night after a terrible argument where he blamed her for cheating, he did something desperate, something stupid. He tried a love spell. Kalia said, I didn't want to get him. I already had him. I wanted him to stop cheating. I wanted him to want me the way he used to. So she found a spell on TikTok, actually. She told me the spell, but I'm not gonna tell y'all the spell because... So she does the spell, and to ensure it worked, she begged the universe, ancestor spirits, whoever was listening to make him love her again. But the flame kept flickering as if something was breathing onto the candle. Anyway, ritual done, blows out the candle, goes to sleep. Well, Kalia would unfortunately soon find out that the spell didn't bind him. It binded her. The next morning, he acted normal. Too normal. The next day, Kalia starts to feel like something is happening to her. Her chest physically starts to hurt if she's away from him for too long. Her stomach would twist as if she was starving when he didn't text her back. Her limbs literally shook when he went out without her. It was like she was going through withdrawals without this man. Like she would cry out of nowhere, get these mood swings, get fevers out of nowhere. No, it didn't stop the cheating. So at this point, she's obsessed. He's still cheating. So she's like, what the fuck? I want to leave him. She said just the thought of breaking up with him would make her hands go numb. She felt sick without him, like physically sick. It is as though her body was addicted to his presence. It is as though he wasn't the one being controlled. She was. And it unfortunately got worse every day. She lost weight, she stopped eating. She couldn't sleep unless his arm was physically touching her. She would wake up to panic attacks. And she said that it didn't feel like love anymore. It felt like she was encaged inside of her own body. They argued again, and that night he decided to stay at a friend's house. And Kalia said she swore she almost died. Her chest tightened so hard that she collapsed on the floor. She literally couldn't breathe and her vision became blurry. She was shaking on the ground, having a panic attack. She said the worst part wasn't the physical pain. It was what she heard in that moment. She heard a whisper past her ear, now you can never let go. And in that moment, Kalia realized the spell didn't stop him from cheating. It didn't make him love her. It didn't protect her. It made her obsessed, dependent, bound to someone who just simply didn't love her back. He wasn't a prisoner. She was. And that's when she understood that whatever spell she did attached itself to her heart and not his. And she wants y'all to know it is not worth it. it. Do not buy a man's love, no matter how cheap it may be. Now, if you want to hear a part 2 about how she got out, spoiler alert, it took years and blood. So spooky. If you want me to do a part 2, go ahead and leave a comment for part 2. For now, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Oh, and make sure you follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. Imagine doing a love spell on somebody and then it backfires on you. I am back with another spooky story, at least part 2. So after the love spell backfired, Kalia's health just kept declining in ways that the hospital couldn't even explain. She wasn't eating, she couldn't sleep, her skin was always cold. And mind you, after he walked out on her and left, she became even more obsessed with this man. She was stalking this man on social media. Although she was blocked on her original account, she created multiple other accounts to stalk that man. Her friends noticed that this is a problem. Well, the social media thing then escalated. She would go as far as catfishing him because she was just so desperate for any communication with him. And he was posting hurtful things like he's single. She catfished him. He gave her a location for them to meet up at, to where she proceeded on stalking that man. Basically, he gave the person that he thought he was talking to a public location for them to meet at. It actually being Kalia the whole time. She drives to the location but never left the car. She proceeded on watching him from her car and then follow him home. And that kind of became something that she would do. She would just kind of follow him. She says every bit of her life was about that man and trying to get him back. Well, some of her friends started to notice that she's not well, and they used to tell her this a lot. And after what Kalia had planned next, when her friends said this, she realized maybe they're right. Maybe I am taking things a little too far, as she planned to break into his apartment next. At that point, she decided that she wanted herself back. She wanted her life back before the obsession. But it's not something that you can just switch off. So she did research and found a hoodoo practitioner in the area. That person had great ratings and they seemed like a trusted person in the community. She was able to book an unbinding ceremony. And although she was nervous about it, at this point, she had nothing to lose. So the person who did the ceremony, we're gonna call her Claudette. So it was 3 steps. She told her to write the truth, your true intentions and why you did what you did. Burn the idea of him, not the person, but the idea. And then the final step is the cleansing. While she's cleansing the space and Kalia, she lights 2 candles that were connected by a rope through the middle. She lights both of them at the same time. And while she is cleansing Kalia and telling her to release the idea of this man and to let him go, the candle is burning viciously. Like the flames are going up. The flames even look red. It's hard for her to focus. But the practitioner is asking her to stay focused. And she couldn't leave until she saw the rope actually break. And it took a very long time for that rope to break. And she said the second that rope broke though, it's like this sudden weight was just lifted off her shoulders. And she said the reason why this story had to be anonymous and she couldn't give any clues as to who she is because till this day she can't believe some of her actions. Like stalking that man, literally, on social media and in real life. Anyway, so she says stay away from love spells. Make sure you hit that follow button and I will see you guys in the next video from your absolute favorite Haitian homegirl. One of my story times I said, now we all know about Moldavite. Turns out a lot of people don't know about Moldavite. And if you're thinking about getting Moldavite, maybe listen to this story first. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Smeralda. I feel like using my friends' names today. Now, Smeralda says that this was just punishment for being stupid. So last year, she bought Moldavite. She didn't believe in crystals like that, but everywhere she looked, people were saying that it forces transformation. Now, at the time, this was going viral, and a lot of people were talking about what Moldavite was doing for them. People were saying that it removes what's not aligned, it shifts your entire life. Smeralda was in a really dark place. Wrong job, wrong apartment, wrong man. And something in her wanted change. Fast. One day, a man outside was selling crystals. She saw it and thought it was meant to be. So she decided to buy herself a tiny little piece. She says that day, her life broke open. That night, she had a dream, a terrible one. It was just her waking up within different layers of nightmare. This one, she thought she escaped one nightmare. She was back in another horrific nightmare. She was either being chased or she saw that her house was burning down. Her dreams just became very apocalyptic. And she said that night when she woke up from that dream, a dream that felt like it went on for way too long, by the way. Now, she wore the Moldavite as a ring. So when she woke up, she said she should have thrown it out right then and there. But she didn't want to block her blessings, you know? She said And within a week of having Moldavite, she lost her job because they restructured the team. Her boyfriend of 3 years admitted that he'd been cheating on her with someone that he met online. Her landlord decided that he randomly needed the apartment back for a family emergency, and she was given 30 days to leave. And Esmeralda just kept telling herself, Moldavite removes what's not meant for me. But it genuinely didn't feel like a cleansing. It felt very violent. Like everything was being ripped away from her. And way too fast at that for her to even process what's going on. She says 2 weeks later, she's driving around. Her car starts breaking down on the road. The car that was driving behind her rams into her, sending her car forward, hitting a pole. There goes the car. The car was totaled, but she was fine, thank God. Now, Esmeralda says because her life has been upside down for so long, at this point, she forgot about the Moldavite on her hand. But this is the night that everything would come to a head. She says one night, as she's sitting there, she's thinking about how her life has been going for the past 2 weeks and became so angry and just started throwing things. And the angrier she got, she notices that her finger starts getting hot. She looks down and it was the finger that had on the Moldavite. That's when she's like, oh shit, this bitch ass crystal. In that moment, it really dawns on her, let me just get rid of this crystal. Whether it's a superstition or not, she had lost enough to stick it out. At this point, she doesn't know what other blessings that she could get that would make up for all this trauma. All this trauma caused within the time span of 2 weeks, by the way. So yeah, maybe think about it before you buy Moldavite. It definitely shouldn't be your first crystal because Moldavite pretty much accelerates any energy that's already there. If you're not good at protecting yourself energetically, when negative energy gets to you, Moldavite is going to reflect that. If you're also someone who does not do a lot of shadow work, Moldavite will also exploit that. So a lot of your trauma will also come up. I wouldn't say don't get it. I would more so say let it not be your first crystal. I almost got Moldavite once, because I'm dark like that. But I'm Haitian. I don't need any of that. Life fucks me up for fun, so I don't need a rock. Anyway, let me know. Would you get Moldavite from your favorite Haitian homegirl? It is with great sorrow and disgust that I am making this video. What do you mean I am Zoe? Mr. Messy Mondays is weird with children. Oh my God. When I first saw the video, I couldn't believe it. So I had to go do my own research. And y'all, there is no defending this clip. I am sick to my stomach. As an avid watcher of Messy Mondays, this is sick, twisted, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Because you report on celebrity news and the terrible things that these people would do. Here's the clip, you guys.
And how old are you? 15. What the hell? Your lips was pretty though. You eat pussy? What? Watch your lips. You a freak. How tall are you, little Puerto Rican or Mexican? What are you, Mexican or Puerto Rican? Oh, you got boxer. Child, you got a good 7.5. Why are you trying to tease us right now? Why are you showing all that stuff like that? Why are you showing your body? Why you being a net? Well, see. These girls will be all in your DM trying to holler at you because you just teased them. You 16, so yeah, 7 is probably big to you at 16. Please don't be that girl who act like it's all that. Trust me, I know. How old are you, boy? I'm 16. Oh, never mind. So young. Yeah. Go to your room and get a pair of your boxers and hold them up like this. Wow. What? Do it! If I beat you.
This is a think piece, so I'm not supposed to be speechless. But here I am. I can't believe it, but I have nothing to say. Apparently, these allegations have been happening since 2017. I've never seen anything about this until literally today. And the evidence, I believe, speaks for itself. I don't know. What do you guys think? From your favorite Haitian homegirl. I am dying to talk about this because this is something that I'm actually quite passionate about. So let's talk about the tattoo on Diddy's back. So in 2017, Diddy unveiled his full back tattoo. And this is what it looks like. Now, this is the picture of a Haitian law who goes by Ezeli Dantor. Diddy's back tattoo, Ezeli Dantor. When sharing the ink, Diddy captioned the reveal, and I quote, "I got the front and she's got my back." Over time, observers speculated that the design is actually inspired or for Ezeli Dantor, a figure in Haitian Voodoo sometimes depicted reminiscent in the style of a Black Madonna. Ezeli Dantor is associated with motherhood, feminine strength, protection of women, and marginalized communities, and justice. In Voodoo, Ezeli Dantor is a fierce protector of women and children. So why would someone like Diddy get this law tatted on his back. Now, these are just my theories. My first theory is he's looking for protection from the consequences of his own actions. Now, Ursula Duntor is a warrior, right? So he probably did this looking for protection from the backlash by showing that he is a devotee, thinking that the law is going to pay it forward. But the irony here is that Duntor doesn't protect abusers. She defends victims. After watching the Diddy documentary on Netflix, it is no doubt to me that this man is power hungry. He's looking for power from all sources. So it's not a stretch to me that he would be looking for quite literal spiritual power. It's possible that he started to dig into spiritual systems to maintain power. Duntor is also known for raw primal force, vengeance, domination, almost being impossible to defeat. And he might mark himself with her image, hoping. Spiritually, he appears untouchable. That would intimidate rivals. That is a force that can scare away both human and spiritual enemies. And we know, based on the documentary, he needed that at the time. Knowing Diddy's past, it's possible that he may have thought that he was one of the children that Ursula protects. However, his current life literally contradicted her values. And my last theory is that was his desperate attempt to redirect karma. So when karma's catching up, enemies are exposing them, her empire is starting to crumble. Ursula Duntor, who represents justice, truth, protection of the innocent, punishment of the abuser. Someone like Diddy, who genuinely probably believes that he's innocent in all of this, thinks that he falls into that category. And sometimes these spirits taunt you. They look for you. He probably messed with somebody who had an Ursula spirit. In my theory, allegedly. He caught the spirit, became infatuated, thought that the spirit was here to protect him, bring him justice. However, you can consider him tricked, as she was there all along to out him and to protect the victims. Diddy is not a victim. He is an abuser. It is no coincidence that after he got that tattoo, well, that was the beginning of the end for Diddy. These are just my theories, allegedly, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. So I have been besties with my best friend for 11 years. That is the most consistent relationship in my life, period. And sometimes I even question, like, how has it been that long? But it's really the little things that she does that makes me realize, wow, like, even after 11 years, we still have so much to talk about. We still relate with each other and we understand each other. Let me tell you this one thing that she did that I thought was so sweet. Honestly, it made me, like, I knew I had a good friend in my corner already, but this little thing meant so much to me. So we went to Mexico together, and on day 3, we had excursion. So that day, dun dun dun, I get my period. And basically, before the trip, I had suspected that this was gonna happen. I asked her to, bring me some tampons. So she packed up some tampons in her luggage for me. So boom, 3 days into the trip, the day comes and I need the tampon. I asked her for him and she gives me the box. I used one and then I gave her back the box. Now it's time for us to leave for the excursion. We get to the excursion and halfway into the excursion, I realized, oh my God, I did not bring an extra tampon. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm literally in the middle of nowhere. I already know nobody else here has a fucking tampon for me. I'm on a freaking ATV right now. Everybody left their stuff in lockers, like, oh my God, I'm screwed. So I said aloud to my friend who's driving the ATV, I said, bro, I forgot to bring a tampon. Thinking I'm absolutely screwed because that tampon needed to be changed. And you know what she said? And she said, oh, that's okay, bro. I brought an extra one for you. She said, I knew you were probably gonna forget, so I packed one just for you, just in case. She didn't need the tampons. And she didn't ask me before leaving the hotel, hey, Nayla, maybe bring something extra. No, she literally just did it. And it's the little things that people do. I realized that in that friendship, I truly do experience unconditional love. In a sense that I haven't experienced before in the past. Because I promise you, my family would have known that I didn't bring a tampon, would not have bought an extra one for me, and would have waited for the moment that I needed one to harp on me and embarrass me and shame me so that I wouldn't let this happen again, because it's not their responsibility, it's mine. Now, while it's true that it's nobody else's responsibility but my own, I think that's what made it that much more special. It's the fact that she didn't have to do this. She didn't have to think of me. She didn't have to care. But she knows me enough as her bestie to say, she's not gonna remember to bring herself a tampon, so I'm just gonna do it. And when she needs it, she's gonna ask. And I did. First of all, it's her being that predictable in the friendship and her knowing me. That level of thoughtfulness is something that I've never experienced in my life. And I am correcting that behavior, by the way. Now, this is literally a minute, like, small little thing in the grand scheme of things that Smeralda's actually done, but I wanted to talk about that because it really is the little things. You have to recognize the ways that people care about you and the way that they show up for you. And every time it may not be the way that you want them to show up for you, but sometimes the way that they show up is needed and more than enough. Go hug a friend today. From your favorite Haitian homegirl. The Diddy documentary actually unveils to me exactly how Diddy was able to do all the heinous things that he did and got away with them successfully. It's simply the people that Diddy surrounded himself around. Diddy, unfortunately, was in a position of power, was in a position to make other people's dreams come true, and he exploited that. Now, I don't want this video to come off as victim shaming or victim blaming whatsoever. The people who surrounded themselves around Diddy allowed Diddy to go on for so long. A lot of the things that Diddy did, you had men and women around him that were complacent. And here's the thing. Nobody minded or batted an eye at what Diddy was doing until it started to affect them. Like Kurt, the one who owed 25% of Bad Boys, you watched him beat the fuck out of his baby mother and then became those same kids' godfather months later. Kurt said, and he took a lot of accountability for his part in the story. Like, he did say he was the first disciple. He did say he was the first gatekeeper, good or bad. Well, I commend him. But Kurt, for example, didn't have a problem with anything that Diddy was doing. He actually defended all of Diddy's actions, worked with Diddy to bury the things that he did, went to those parties and saw other women being sexually assaulted on screen. It was all okay then. You sat there complacent and watched them unalive Tupac and then Biggie. But you draw the line. He comes to your office swinging a baseball bat in your face, demanding his 25% back. Let's make a documentary talking about the horrible things that Diddy did and how horrible the diddler was. But what about y'all? Don't get me wrong, Diddy belongs underneath the jail. Like that jury lady, sent her to jail right with him. That bitch was fanned the fuck out. Would you say Diddy is violent? Well, according to that Continental video, he can be. Like, bitch! He should have gotten a lot more than 4 years. But after meeting a couple of the jurors, actually shocked that he winded up getting 4 years. But also the women around him, right? Now, I'm not really here to touch on the victims and the women that were sexually assaulted. I will say is putting yourself in a situation that seriously goes against your moral values to gain fame, notoriety, or whatever else is indeed selling your soul. Diddy was able to keep up the scheme because Diddy had people to fool. Nobody who was ever around Diddy succeeded or even really made money. People were being fed with empty promises and they stayed regardless of the situation. And I think one Hollywood secret is that it's common in the industry for men to give up a little piece of booty to show how bad you wanted to become a rapper. It was a common thing in the industry back in the day. This is the humiliation rituals that we used to talk about. This is celebrities doing things that goes against their moral values for fame and fortune. It's not quite literally signing your soul down on a piece of paper. It's giving your booty hole to the diddler when you know you're straight. And to a certain extent, it was okay until people didn't get their money. It's like, yo, I've been under diddler for over 10 years. Where's my money? I covered up secrets for you, watched you do all these horrible things and didn't hold you accountable. So where's my money? Diddy is a disgusting predator, and I still don't think that the documentary went as deep as it could have. Oh, and everybody who's now making 50 Cent out to be some sort of hero because he produced this documentary, him and Diddler, one of the same. It gets real domestic with 50 Cent. It's the pot calling the kettle black. Anyway, I shall sit tight and wait for Jay-Z's next.